Ciao, everybody. My name is Anthony. Thank you for joining us here on Football Worldwide or Interworldwide, wherever abouts you're tuning in. It's time to chat Serie A. I've been meaning to do it for a little while on this platform or across both, and now the top four is really in that dogfight scrap of a stage. Although possibly two of the contenders may have just fallen a little bit too far behind at this stage of the track, and that's pretty much all we're going to look at here in a very short 30 minutes, or so. And I'll say this a couple of times. Anybody that's watching now, make sure you like and subscribe to Serie A Sit Down, run by the awesome Frank Crivello and Richard Carmen. I'm going to be a guest on their show pretty much straight after this. So make sure you're tuning into Serie A Sit Down as well. Ciao, Massimo. How you doing? I've got 7 people with me right now across all platforms. I'm not going to check exactly where they're coming from because I just want to get straight into it. Top 4, fight, ready, lock, stocked, and loaded, man. Theo Hernandez. Objectively speaking, from a Football Worldwide perspective, this guy is the best fullback still in the league. He's the best left back in Europe still, isn't he? Who's better than him? Who can do what he can do from that position? I hope that he wants bigger things than Milan. I hope that he wants to go back to Spain or something. I just want him to leave this side because he does collateral damage for them in Serie A. 2-0 win over Lazio. What a first half for Milan. Now, they lost Rafael Leao very, very early. They lost him very early. It's a big worry for the Champions League coming up for Leao and for Milan. But speaking from a Serie A and just from a match day perspective, this is a huge win in their fight for top 4. It's also a third defeat in 4 games for Lazio, or is it at least 3 games out of the 4 that they've dropped points? They were sitting with a real pretty cushion at one stage of the season. And it was only recently, I'm talking only like 3 weeks, 4 weeks ago, it was very, very much in Lazio's hands. They had an opportunity to make sure that they were getting to this match day now, match day 34, well out in the clear, +7, +8. You name it. They weren't going to be caught in the last 4 days. Now, they're not going to get caught. They are caught. It's very, very close. I did not envision it to be this close. Shout out to Strasbourg Steve. Embarrassing defeat for Lazio. Hate Milan, but they deserve that, bro. Thank you so much for coming in. I really, really appreciate it, man. Really appreciate it. You're new here, so please like and subscribe to Football and Inter Worldwide, man, if you want to see more of my ugly mug. Ben Neal, what's going on? Haven't seen you in a while. Let's go into finishing second, winning all our remaining games. We'll see, bro. We'll really, really see what happens. Shout out to Sarri and Lazio for collecting as many points as they did in a critical early stage of 2023, but they're going to have to continue to back it up. They're going to have to continue to back it up because this Milan side is now hot on their heels, and we haven't even spoken about Inter, and Juve have leapfrogged them into second position. I didn't think anybody was going to catch Lazio in second position. And here we are sitting on this match day, and they're very much caught, very much caught. I've got a graphic of the table coming up very soon, but what a performance from Milan. It must be said that only, I think, -2 from Inter in 5th position. They're going to take it all the way to the end of the season. All the way to the end of the season, aren't they? What a goal from Teo. What a goal from Benacer. What a hustle. What an absolute hustle. Yeah, you're good, Massimo. You come back whenever you want. This is Lazio's run of form going into that game. Lazio's run of form going into that game. Yeah. 3 losses in 4. Thank you, Steve. Thank you, my bro. I really appreciate it. So, a good away win, routine away win to Spezia, compiled with a disappointing home defeat to Torino. They got slapped up by us at the San Siro, as they did again with Milan. This is where they've lost their 9 critical points that puts them right back on the tipping point of the top 4. As you can see, the ladder is on the right. Napoli, obviously, clear in front. They're not even relevant anymore. Juve, 66. Lazio, 64. Inter, 63. Milan, 61. The Atalanta and Roma defeats, it really puts them in a tough spot. I don't think that they're going to get there. Atalanta's going to have to go through us at the San Siro. So there's Lazio's fixture list. And now with Lecce dropping points to Verona this morning, it must be said that that Lazio game becomes even more tricky for the Biancolesti. Yep, it does. Udinese away, no easy task. Cremonese, if they're still fighting for relegation and want any points possible, won't be easy. And then Empoli away. Suddenly, all of a sudden, top four is actually starting to look pretty damn tricky for Lazio, despite still being in third. This is Milan's form going into the game. 2 wins and 3 draws, 9 points out of 15. Steve says it's a real pain in the backside caused, even if we get UCL, is Lotito going to put his money where his mouth is? Probably not. To make the squad respectable in elite European competition? Definitely not. I'm not holding my breath. Yeah, I love a realistic fan, bro. You've come to the right place. You've come to the right place when it comes to uncomfortable truths. So Milan, I expect to get 3 points at home to Sampdoria and at home to Verona, even if Verona's facing relegation on the last day. If AC Milan have more to play for on the last day than Verona do, they'll still beat them. The Juve game is a huge one for both sides. That's a huge game at that point of the season. Right on the match day that Inter play Atalanta as well. It's going to be, that's going to decide a lot, that match day. Stay tuned for some absolute drama on match day 37. Moving on to that fixture as well. Atalanta losing 2-0 at home to Juve, a result that will really, really sting in Bergamo, because they would have liked to at least kept a point at home and continued their fight for top four. At 58 points, you need to look at them and say, you got to win pretty much 3 out of your 4 remaining games to stand any chance whatsoever now to make it, considering you really need to snake a spot from all the teams above you. They've got the team to do it. They've still got the fixtures to do it. They could really go and get 12 points out of 12 and get there, but I don't know if it's going to be enough. Ealing Jr., Chelsea Jr., I think. A Chelsea Jr. He was doing absolutely brilliant for Juve this morning. He was one of their best players. I think it was his first start as well. And is it his first goal? It was his first or second start and his first goal. So I have no doubt that Juve has done a good piece of business there. I'm not too sure if he's on loan or if Juve own him. If they do, they're going to make a pretty penny when they sell him back to England at some point. So good for him and good for Allegri. Good for Juve, who are now moving up to second on the ladder. No Zappacosta bangers this match day, as he's been producing recently. I think he's had goals in back-to-back games. One against Torino, one against someone else. Yeah, Ealing Jr. does look promising, Steve. I'll have to agree with that there. Can't stand either Juve or Atalanta, lesser of the two evils in your position. Is Atalanta. Yeah, I think that goes for most, unless you're a Juve fan. But I just don't see Atalanta clawing it back here, man. I think that they'll lose out just on points at the end because their fixtures, these are Juve's fixtures. Let's look at Juve first. In second position, 66 points. Their fixture. All right, we're back. Internet's really inconsistent, so let me know if it wigs out again. I'll try and fix it after this because I'll need it to be good for the next show, that's for sure. Cremonese is not an easy beat, so isn't Empoli. Then the Milan game's big, and then Udinese away is difficult as well. So these are not easy fixtures for Udinese. For Juventus, man. These are going to be tricky. They're going to keep playing their very defensive style of football. Allegri is going to keep trying for his 1-0 results. And I think that they'll get over the line, obviously. What really is going to pique our interest is if they do face another points deduction or sanction in court. I'll be interested to see what happens there. So this Serie A season has all the hallmarks for more drama. Results still coming through when the season's over, even. But in terms of Atalanta, Salernitana need to still get something. So to Verona, obviously were no easy beats. Monza is safe. I actually think their last game of the season against Monza is probably going to be Atalanta's easiest game. Thank you, bro. I respect that as well. Appreciate it, Steve, for coming through. Atalanta, for me, gets 3 points from Salernitana. They get a point from Verona or a point from Salernitana. They'll get 4 out of the next 2 games here. And then against us, they'll get a point or lose, and then they'll get 3 against Monza. Altogether, I can see Atalanta collecting somewhere between 6 and 8 points. They won't get 9. I don't think they'll get 9. They might get 9. I think they'll get 7. I think they could get 7 points here. I'm actually based in Sydney, man. Sydney, Australia. They'll beat Salernitana. I'll probably not destroy them. Yeah, cool. No, I'm based in Sydney, Australia, man. Born to Italian parents. Let's talk about Inter for a second. I won't talk too much about them because I speak a lot about them all the time on Inter Worldwide. Really good to see this guy looking fit and in form. He looks like he's enjoying his football, and it looks like the team is actually hitting form at the right time of the season. This might be famous last words as we come up with probably the most congested, difficult fixture list period I've ever seen for my club. 2 UCL semifinals against Milan with a Sassuolo game in between, and then a Coppa Italia final outside of that. It's going to be such an epic end to the month. Oh, and we've got Napoli and Atalanta. Yeah, it is peak. It is peak out here for Inter. Oh, of course you did. Oh, of course you did. What's going on, man? It's good to see you. Very good to see you. Bro, our fixtures are tough. They're tough coming through to this. We're going to need players fit like Gosens to come back. We are going to need players that have been slightly out of form to be in form again. Inter has done well to claw back 12 out of 12 points, if I can say that objectively. But at the same time, we lost and dropped so many points throughout the season that we are left here licking our wounds and reaping the consequences of the fact that we are still just 1 game away from oblivion at the end of the day. Still just 1 game away. So anyone can fall out of the top 4 at any given point in time. So to just narrow it out of the Atalanta and the Roma bracket for a second, this is what we're looking at the moment with 4 games to go with the teams that are going to be making the top 4. We've taken Roma and Atalanta out of the equation here, but Atalanta can still make it. We've got Atalanta's fixtures on a couple of slides before. Ciao, Debbie. How you going? Good to see you here. For those of you watching, I've got 11 here now, which is nice. I will be on Serie A sit down after this with Richard Carmen, if I'm not mistaken. So make sure you're going over there, following his and Frank's show, and I'll be joining you guys soon over on that platform. Steve says you're finishing 5th. You can smell a collapse from Lazio. I think most fans can smell a collapse from their team. I think most teams can smell a collapse from their team. I can smell a collapse from here from Inter. But at the same time, we've just got so much business to take care of in so many different avenues still this season. It's bizarre, you know? It's the 8th of May, and I can't see the finish line of the season. Nowhere near it. Nowhere near it. I cannot see the finish line of the season to save my life. So, yeah, the 6 of you watching on Inter Worldwide right now, which is nice. If you can make it across to Football Worldwide and subscribe, that would be very, very nice of you. Very nice of you. Yeah, let's hope we can stay in the top 4, Amy. Let's definitely hope so. We're going to need to. We're going to need to because we're right there. We're right there. So I can pretty much discuss right now. I think that Juve, Inter, and Milan are going to get 3 points on the next match day. I can actually see Lecce snaking a draw against Lazio, even if it is away. Even if it is at home for Lazio. Like, Lecce are now in the relegation zone. They need points, but they suck. They are really bad at the moment. I did not see them dropping this many points. So you know what? Maybe we should just call it 4 wins for all of them in the next match day. Let's start off at 3 apiece, just as this fun little game. Empoli away for Juve. I'm going to give them the 3 points away there. I'm going to give Juve the 3 points, so 6. Udinese away for Lazio. I'm giving you guys a draw in that one. Napoli away for Inter. I'm actually going to say that we draw that game away to Napoli, although I am confident we can go there and beat them because they'll be half on the beach. It's a great time to play Napoli. If we've got something to play for, I think we'll do well there. So I'll give us a point there. And Milan's going to get 3 points on Sampdoria. So at this point, Milan and Inter are basically on equal points. And Lazio are still +2. Juve has raced out in front a little bit more. Home in Turin with Milan for Juve. I'm going to put that down as a draw. I'm going to say that Lazio beat Cremonese at home, even though it's going to be tough. Cremonese will make it very tough for you guys. I think that we will beat Atalanta at home, and obviously that result, the inverse, is the draw for Milan at this point. Inter has the jump on Milan by 2 points again, and they were also about level with Lazio now, and about 2 points, 3 points from Juve. Last game of the season, away Juve to Udinese. I can see them drawing that game, but I could also see them, if they need to win it, Juve, they'll win it. Lazio away to Empoli. Again, shaky. We'll see. If you need to win it, you win it. I'm calling that a draw. I'm calling Inter to draw away on the last day of the season as well. And I'm calling Milan to draw at home to Verona on the last day as well, especially if Verona needs survival on the last day of the season. So I think Inter will make it. But if we make it this season, it is absolutely by the skin of our teeth, by the absolute skin of it. We've still got points to drop. They'll come against Napoli. They could come against Torino, like I predict. They could come against Atalanta. We could beat Torino. I don't know. But one thing's for sure, it's just going to be so tricky for everybody. And, we've still got this European fixtures that we're playing 3 games at home in 3 days, really. So, we play against Milan at the San Siro away, but the only thing that's away, obviously, is the amount of seats. Sorry, the amount of red and black fans in the seats and the name on the ticket. It's still at the Miazza. We're then at home to Sassuolo and home at the Miazza. So, we can really get used to it and get comfortable with it. That's what I think. Anyway, talking a little bit too much now about Inter. That's all that we're going to have time for on this show today. I've been going for almost 20 minutes. Unless anybody has anything they want to discuss about Serie A, you can drop it in the comments. Otherwise, in about 25 minutes' time, you can head over to Serie A, sit down with Frank Crevello and Richard Carmen. And yeah, I'll see you guys there to chat more and more Serie A. Just before I go, though, I think that it's been a valiant season from Roma and Jose Mourinho. We didn't mention them at all in this show, and Inter did just beat them by 2-0. They came in with a very injured and depleted squad. No one can deny that. That squad that went out against Inter was not built to beat us. We went over there and we beat the weakest Roma side that has taken the pitch this season. I acknowledge that full frontal. You can only beat what's in front of you, and it's never easy to go to the Olimpico and beat Roma, no matter who is on the pitch. But Roma have still put up a good fight, and I actually am, now that they're out of Serie A, I strongly pick them to get to that Europa League final at the hands of Leverkusen. And I swear to God, who's going to bet against Jose Mourinho in a European final? Not me, bro. Not me. He has not lost a European final before. I don't think he plans on starting in the Eternal City, not after winning that Conference League. From going Conference League to Europa League, that is vintage Mourinho style level. Get back yourself into a corner and hustle your way out. Manager of the season for Serie A. There's a few nominees, but at the end of the day, you're going to have to give it to Spalletti. You have to give it to Spalletti. Close seconds or thirds to Spalletti based on how good their seasons are. Probably Italiano with Fiorentina, despite his poor start. He's got them up around that 8th position, although that's where they're usually expected to be. So one might argue Italiano's just done his job well in the first season. I would say the only other candidate would be Thiago Motta, but once again, Bologna is a mid-table side with, the beautiful late and great Sinisa Mihajlovic. They're just about the same, if not a slightly bit better than Thiago Motta. There's a couple of good managers this season that deserve that shout, like them guys. Despite them being second on this ladder, it's not Allegri. Despite them being third, it's not Sarri. And despite it being us in fourth, it's definitely not Inter. That's for sure. I mean, how could we say that it's us? How could we? Pioli, I don't think so. I don't think so either. I forgot whose manager. It's Palladino, bro. Palladino is Monza's manager. He coached Spezia not long ago. So he's not a bad shout because they're 10th? Monza? Now Palladino's done well there, but I don't think for manager of the season. Although to get Monza into 10th, he's definitely in the category, but it has to be Spalletti. It definitely has to be Spalletti. Sevilla, a strong Sevilla against Roma will probably beat them. Yep, I agree there. All right, guys, that's it from me. Subscribe to both channels if you are new, and definitely go and check out Serie A Sit Down as well in about 25 minutes time. I'll see you guys there. Okay. Thank you very much. Ciao.